I wish I had known at 19 what I'd only come to learn the brutally painful way 2 decades later about what long-term psychological torture at the hand of a narcissist actually does to someone. As much as we all want to tell ourselves that there is good in everyone, or believe that anyone can be helped, the truth of the matter is that some people aren't lost. Some people don't want to be saved. Some people just like the dark. They've studied the system. They've used others' empathy like a map. They infiltrate families, institutions, therapy rooms, and know just the right cards to play whenever they find themselves in a courtroom, be that for a crime or in a custody war that they deliberately created unnecessarily. They know what they're doing. They know what is socially acceptable, knowing precisely when and where to put their likable, humble human mask on, when to play the victim. They know how to exploit cognitive biases and human tendencies. And the sneakiest, most sinister trick up their sleeve is using moral framing to co-opt your identity, turning your moral compass against you to create traps within traps. So you can no longer tell what's real anymore. And what makes it so lethal is that it doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like your own voice, your own guilt, your own shame, your own conscience. Because manipulating you through moral framing turns your integrity into obedience. But here's where it really gets twisted, is now you start doing their bidding for them. You begin to violate your own values, ignoring your own boundaries, because resisting makes you feel like you're being a bad person, and your conscience starts gnawing at you, eating you from the inside. But here's the catch. It ain't your conscience. It is the internalized, vile, vindictive voice of the narcissist. They don't just change what you think, they change how you think. It attaches your values to your compliance. But this isn't just blind compliance. It is conditioning. Deliberate, calculated, psychological reprogramming designed to erase your autonomy, your identity, your value, the very things that we are hardwired to protect. And why it works so well is because if someone convinces you that you're not a good person, unless you agree with them, or it makes their request seem small or morally justified, you'll bend. Why? Because most people will do almost anything to restore that sense of feeling like a decent person. And all the while you're trying to feel good about who you are, you won't notice what's happening, because they've been strategically reframing reality the whole time, turning words into weapons, designed to make you feel how they want you to feel, so you'll behave how they want you to behave, keeping you locked in with an arsenal of loaded language. And here are just a few of their most powerful communicative top guns: love bombing, triangulation, foot in the door, cognitive dissonance, illusion of truth, the halo effect, hot and cold treatments. Then there's DARVO, inoculation, projection, weaponizing ambiguity, smear campaigns, strategic incompetence, false equivalence, future faking, playing the victim. This is how narcissists create a controlled reality. Framing sets the stage, gets you primed and ready to make gaslighting your reality more effective and efficient. This combo is the foundation to how they triangulate, isolate, and control you, to shape your perceptions of others, erode your trust in yourself, a little 1-2 punch that breaks your internal compass and hands them the keys to your life. But here's the kicker. It doesn't just work at the individual level. It works just as well, if not better, to manipulate the masses, where they're harder to detect and more psychologically disarming. And well, let's be real. Unless you have been living under a rock these past few years, you've seen it, as things have started to surface and have become quite clear that these monsters don't just wear masks, They wear suits, and I ain't talking about the orange jumpsuit kind either. Because the reality is that most of these dark personalities aren't residing behind prison bars or lurking in the alleyways. They are in offices, on panels, in boardrooms, and in churches. They have an entire ecosystem in line to protect them, with the lawyers who call it a civil matter, therapists who say, you both played a role, HR departments that prioritize liability over lives, judges who only care about bruises, schools and corporations that say, we don't get involved in personal issues, even when those personal issues are trauma factories destroying and dismantling billions of lives. And the Diagnostic Bible, the DSM, it is not a sacred book. It is academic gatekeeping, written by committees influenced by politics, insurance companies, and big pharma. It told professionals how to see, and worse, what not to see, giving the human predator a makeover, cutting out the personality and manipulation, the arrogance, the lack of empathy. And they called what was left antisocial personality. ASPD came the street criminal, the fist, the mugshot, not the CEO, the politician, or the charming therapist who likes to play God with your thoughts. But these traits, they didn't just vanish. They were relabeled and tucked quietly into narcissistic personality disorder. Now, manipulation, oh, that's just their fragile ego. Exploitation, that's their low self-worth. Coldness, but a trauma response. And if they ruin you, well, maybe you just didn't love them enough. You just need to pet the beast to tame it. And when it bites your hand off, don't hold the beast accountable. It's not the beast's fault. It only bit you because it was hurting. And well, after all, you have another hand, so stop complaining, would you? And show a little more compassion. This isn't psychology. That is a linguistic heist. Now the most dangerous manipulators, those who exploit, dominate, and destroy without guilt, don't just fall through the cracks, they climb to the top. Because we stick to the first information that we hear. And NPD, when it came out in 1980, was said to be the result of childhood trauma and insecurity. So a wave of empathy was triggered, regardless of it not being scientifically based or even a current standing belief according to many expert opinions. Yet still, society was conditioned to see narcissists as damaged individuals in need of compassion, while these monsters keep destroying lives one after another. And well, let's be clear, these people do not avoid violence or are inherently opposed to beating you bloody. They just know that psychological abuse flies under the radar, but it doesn't mean they aren't capable of horrific physical violence. And well, let me tell you, there is no way I will ever forget the sound of my ex's voice while he was ripping out my hair, lifting my body by only my ponytail, then slamming me down with such force I couldn't breathe, alternating with blows to the face and bare ass as he had stripped me of my clothes so the stings would be more intense. All the while, he repeated, like he was some kind of broken record, "Do you think I am a pussy, you motherfucker? Do you think I won't kill you?" Thankfully, someone heard, had the bravery to come to the door and call the police, so I didn't have to find out. Because honestly, I don't know if he would have or not, but I do know I sure the fuck don't put it past him. It wasn't the bruises or the welts, and it was the wounds that weren't visible to the naked eye that did the most damage, that caused the CPTSD I'm left reeling with still years after the abuse. That's the thing with these people. They can snap at any moment. So much focus on their lack of empathy, but it's not their lack of empathy that makes them so extremely dangerous. It is the lethal trio of their lack of theory of the mind, their lack of object constancy, and their lack of whole object relations, giving them this black and white mentality where they can't hold a consistent view. You're either all good or all bad. There is no gray area. They are people of the extremes. They don't hesitate. They don't reflect. They don't care how you feel. But on top of the fact that they don't experience affective empathy, have cognitive empathy, so they can mimic your sadness, mirror your joy, pretend to care while they're plotting your destruction, and can appear as if they are responding in an emotionally appropriate manner when it benefits them to do so. They can turn on their alligator tears. They can smile while they ruin you, and laugh as they go tiptoeing off into the tulips, leaving you to rot, because they have mastered the ultimate trick, compartmentalization, and because these individuals are sadistic. Whether they are slaying people bloody or destroying someone's autonomy and robbing them of their rights as a human, these are all acts of violence, and they are all crimes. However, they aren't crimes of passion. They are crimes of pattern. And you can bet your ass that they are going to do them again and again. They don't just want to win, they want to watch you lose. And at the end of the day, a label is not what matters, nor does getting an official diagnosis change a damn thing about their behaviors, their mindset, or how they view and treat others. There's no magic brain scan for a conscience or a blood test for having a total disregard for others. And well, you don't need a diagnosis to confirm when you're looking into the eyes of pure evil. But make no mistake, your voice is the data. Your life is the evidence. And your pain, whether it is physical or psychological, it is not anecdotal, it is an indictment. You are not hysterical. You are not vengeful. You are not overreacting. You are a survivor of a global war that these predators in disguise don't want anyone discussing. A war waged in living rooms and bedrooms, covered up in courtrooms, clinics, and boardrooms. It's not just about exposing the predator. It's about burning down the system that helps to make them invisible. No more silence, no more shame, no more worrying if others believe you. Your truth is what sets you free. They count on the silence. So it's about time we make some fucking noise. Let these predators mask in their fake charm know that the reckoning has begun. Just because they want to keep their head jammed up the ass of Fantasyland doesn't make the stuff that comes out of their bullshit flapper any more real. Nor does stealing your accomplishment make them successful. Hijacking your mind to control you doesn't really make them more almighty than God. Telling lies about you, turning others against you, doesn't make them a better person. Creating manufactured chaos and stirring up confusion till you can't even think straight doesn't make them smarter. Kicking someone when they're down doesn't make them tougher. It just makes them a punk. And stripping away your confidence and self-worth doesn't make them strong. It just makes them pathetic. Fuck them and fuck that. They may want to take you down, so want your rise back up more. That's how you win. Not by loving the beast out of them or trying to outmaneuver them in their own game. It's by being comfortable in your own skin, by seeing their games and refusing to play, by remembering you have the right to happiness, joy, and contentment. They may want your compliance, but you are not obligated to comply. So to thy own self be true. Get back your life, not to prove a point, but because you want it more. Choose you. Love yourself enough to be free. Focus on you. Fuck the narcissist, or whatever you want to call them.